last time you saw your DNA? I'm guessing.
Wow. Hey, pura vida, mi gente. Thanks for tuning in once again. Appreciate you guys taking the time to do that every time. All right. We're starting off the week. We got a new month here. I think this month we're gonna do a lot of reviews. I got a lot of people still confused. I get a lot of new subscribers. They don't go back to watch the old videos. I got a lot of new trolls always, of course. People still telling me about DNA tests and all that, especially. So I kind of wanted to go over this again. And we got some, we're working on our Rick Kittles genealogy, but we don't got that video yet, all right? I'm still verifying everything. I'm still looking for things, but we on your ass, Rick. Hey, but thanks for being here once again. Appreciate you guys taking the time to do that. It's not gonna be a long video. We're gonna just get to the certain points here, right? All right. Yeah, if you guys don't know who Rick Kittles is, well, let me just before we get into anything. All right. Let's see. Okay. A lot of people I shared a short today and they're like, I don't even know who that is. Well, okay, well. The funny thing about him is just like these other people who are so mysterious that I try to do their genealogy to prove, their lies. They always got this generic story about them. Not very much. Their parents don't come out anywhere. Date of birth is omitted. Just very random, like it says here. Rick Antonius Kittles, born in Sylvania, Georgia. That's all we got. He's an American biologist specializing in human genetics and a senior vice president for research at the Morehouse School of Medicine. He is of African-American ancestry. Gosh, the hijack, that's not what he's saying. He ain't saying nothing about no African. And achieved renown in the 1990s for his pioneering work in tracing the ancestry of African-Americans via DNA testing. So basically, he's one of the biggest hijacks when it comes to the whole out of Africa theory, trying to Africanize you and all your ancestors. This guy, I know he knows his genealogy because he actually mentions it in the short that I'm going to show you guys. You know, he says that when he did his Y chromosome genetic study, it proved his oral tradition that he is European. All right, that he's European. It proved it. That's what he said. All right, but I'm gonna anyways. So he had previously held positions at Howard University, Ohio State University, the University of Chicago, University of Illinois, Chicago. And he got all his PhDs and degrees and all that in the hijack. All right. He was raised in Central Islip, New York. Rick holds a BS degree in biology from the Rochester Institute of Technology. Actually found his high school picture. It's funny, pretty funny. Because on one of his interviews I saw online on YouTube, he said he wanted to be a rapper. And so he's standing in the picture, you know, like he's like part of the what's he looks like what's that group called? I forget, but one of the old school rappers in the 80s. Guy his hands crossed, you know, trying to look badass, but he's in an institution. He's in a very private school trying to look gangster. Come on, man. And he grew up in Islip, New York, where he admits he was the only so-called black person there in the class. He literally admitted that. So come on, bro. I can see right through you, man. I can see right through you, man. Anyways, you know, he owns the African Ancestry DNA company, test company. A lot of black folks, so-called black folks, you know, go to his company to find out what African tribe they're from. And, you know, he's all full of hijacks. I just wanted you guys to know who this is. Very big with the Pan-Africans. That's one of their heroes. All right. That's one of their heroes. All right. Just in case you didn't know. All right. But as you guys can see, not much more about him. Who's his parents? Nothing in here. You know, I put ancestry of Rick Kittles. Hold on. Let me just show you ancestry. And nothing much really comes up. You get the same story. You know. There's nothing about his parents, just the same thing that he was born in Savannah, Georgia. They don't even give you the year. I had to kind of estimate that. I kind of found it, I think, somewhere. But that's all they talk about. He was born in Savannah, Georgia. He moved to Islip, New York. That's about it. No parents, no nothing. Mysterious, right? Mysterious. But I think I found his dad. I really think I found his dad. Let me just show you. Check this out. Rick Antonio's Kittles. I think I found his dad. I'm still verifying that, but that person right there, there's actually a lot of Kittles in Sylvania, Georgia, I found out. So I think I did find that this is him right here in the Rochester Institute of Technology. looking like a rapper, right? Trying to be a rapper. Rick Kittles, young Rick Kittles. He had his whole life ahead of him. He was ready to scam the world and lie to everybody and Africanize you. The gatekeeper. And he is, let me just show you. I forgot to show you that. What did it say? So Rochester Institute, where he pledged Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity. Most likely from there, he graduated. Most likely he might be a Boule or Mason. But, you know, that's how they start out. Kappa Alpha Phi, man. Kappa Alpha Phi, man. Oh, I'm going to scam them good. Don't worry, guys. I got this. I'm going to scam them good. Yeah, I'm going to scam them good. Yeah. But I wanted to be a rapper. I wanted to be a rapper. He couldn't rap. He wasn't able to be a P. Diddy, you know, and then fool people that way, you know, support, what you call it, promote gangster rap and oppress you in that way. Like they literally did with gangster rap. Try to put that image on black folks like that's the only thing they were good at, being gangsters and all that. And that was a whole hijack, you know, that was sponsored by the Chazars. Anyways, that didn't work out for him, so he became a geneticist, right? He was always gonna do that, you know. Anyways, so now you know who he is, right? I'm working on it. If you guys want to help me, give me an actual date of birth and the names of his parents. If you guys, any of you know it out there, I can go from there, right? I can go from there, you know. But we definitely working on it. They're literally hiding his info. They're literally hiding it, just like what's his name? Uh, what's his name, man? I forget his name. Jermaine Shoemaker. You know what I'm talking about. The other Pan-African dude. Man, what's wrong with me? I can't remember his name. These people ain't really that important to me, but anyways. We're gonna watch a video we're gonna go over again. This is not a long video, but I hope you're a Pan-African and be ready for any trolls too, guys, because I got it open. I got the chat open for anyone to talk, not just subscribers. Be ready for any trolls, moderators, give them a chance of being respectful, you know, if they continue with, same, going off topic or just, time them out for the day. If they get disrespectful, just hide them from my channel. Okay? Umar Johnson, that's who I meant. So yeah, just like Umar, he's being hidden. All these people are being protected, I believe, because trust me, when you go to certain people, everything comes up. There's 9 on this guy, Rick, Mr. Rick. Anyways, let's get this like it's the first time, all right? We're gonna do a little side commentary. We're gonna talk about Ancestry DNA test.
Last time you saw your DNA, I'm guessing it was in a little, tube like this.
I spit in quite a few of those,
That's
yes.
right. So once you send those to the companies, they'll take your saliva, they clean it up, they will break down the cells so they can free the DNA, and then clean the DNA, break it into small pieces, and then they lay it out on one of these chips here.
So if we look at that chip, will my spit on this chip tell me that definitively I am Italian or definitively I'm from wherever?
No. 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 There's a lot of steps that go in between, a lot of statistical interpretation and models, and whose genome your genome is being compared to. It's not 100% sure. So statistics tell us in our model what's the best situation. It is a statistical guess.
Yeah.
It's an informed guess, but it's never a 100% sure thing. It's never a 100% sure thing.
But is it really what's happening? Can they really be that accurate? I think they're selling something that isn't really supported by the science.
What do you think about the messages that are being sent to consumers?
I think it's misleading. These companies are really trying to push the idea that this is scientific, right? They are using scientific language and they present it in a way that looks very sciencey and precise.
Caulfield says what people are really buying is entertainment.
I think it's recreational science. They can have a little bit of fun with this stuff. Don't take it too seriously, but know that you are just getting some information that is an approximation of how your DNA compares to other people. It's not tracing back your heritage. It's not tracing back your heritage.
Back in Montreal, Gravel agrees.
These specific percentages should not be interpreted as definitive, here's your percentage ancestry from this place. That's not that.
No. Yeah. Get this. Over at Living DNA, in the fine print, the company admits some of its results are guesses. We highlight the sources of your ancestry which are likely to be present, using our best guess of the exact source. The deeper I go, the more questions I have. And at 23andMe, their guesswork isn't apparent until we stumble upon this. Select confidence level. What? Why does it say 50%? Does that mean you're only 50% sure what you told me is right?
Yeah, that's what it says.
Is that what it means?
Yeah, or at least 50%.
That seems shocking. Only half sure?
Yep.
Do you think that most people know that?
No. No, I would like it if they presented their uncertainties more clearly.
That's right. 50% confidence is 23andMe's default setting.
All right, guys. So real quick. So as you guys can see, they're literally guessing. They're literally admitting, even in the small print on the website, they're telling you we're 50% confident of our guess. We're 50% confident of our guess. All right. I do want to say something about DNA tests, though. There's two different things. People like to say, well, I took a DNA test and I found a cousin. That's different. All right. Pay attention to what I'm about to say. It works for connecting you to relatives, past and present. All right. We're not talking about that. It works for, murder cases, paternity, maternity. We're not talking about that. We're talking about when you actually spit in a tube and you wait in the mail. Shout out to Top Cat. He be going at the Pan Africans. Yeah. So people be waiting in the mail waiting for days, waiting for that mail to arrive so they can know who they are, what African tribe they are. So it doesn't work for what landmass. Ancestry DNA test cannot tell you what landmass your ancestors came out of. It could only show you relation to certain people, not make-believe tribes, not make-believe places. It's two different things, okay?
In this article, it says here, genetics, the science and business of genetic ancestry testing. All right, Deborah A. Bolnick, and all these scientists, professors, all right, that contributed to this. Consumers often purchase these tests to learn about their race or ethnicity, but there is no clear-cut connection between an individual's DNA and his or her racial or ethnic affiliation. Again, there is no clear-cut connection between an individual's DNA and his or her racial or ethnic affiliation. Many genetic ancestry tests also claim to tell consumers where their ancestral lineage originated. All right, again, they claim, all right, and the social group to which their ancestors belong. However, present-day patterns of residence are rarely identical to what existed in the past, and social groups have changed over time in name and composition. Databases of present-day samples may therefore provide false leads. Thus, these tests should not be seen as determining the race or ethnicity of a test taker. They cannot pinpoint the place of origin or social affiliation of even one ancestor with exact certainty. They cannot pinpoint the place of origin or social affiliation of even one ancestor with exact certainty.
But the problem is, Sierra Leone wasn't the only answer Vi got. A company called Relative Genetics found a match to a single person in the Wobi tribe in the Ivory Coast.
Different?
Different.
Now, I got all excited about that, and this is different? Now, how could that happen?
Then a third company, Trace Genetics. Your particular sequence matches sequences reported among multiple Mendanka individuals in Senegal.
What's up with this?
And Family Tree DNA, the company that linked Vi with Marion in the first place.
So if you look at this image right here, guys, France is pretty high up there. France got a lot of percentage. They left that out. But she's like, this lady right here, she's getting different results every time. She's like, what? I thought I was this. Now I'm this. So she's a little mad. She's like, oh, this is a joke.
Came up with a whole list of matches. This goes on and on.
My goodness.
So what do we know about Vi's ancestry? The DNA does indicate that she has distant relatives in the Mende tribe, but she also has relatives in all those other tribes. So no one can say for sure where Vi's maternal ancestor actually came from.
All right. So, just remember about the American Colonization Society. There was a lot of people from the Americas brought over to West Africa. So showing relation to people over there, that's to be expected. That doesn't mean that your ancestors are from that place. You might relate to somebody over there, or they might have some kind of markers that you have, but your ancestors could be from anywhere in the world. It doesn't mean they originated in that area of the world. You guys understand what we're talking about here, right? So again, two different things when you're talking about, oh yeah, I was able to find my cousin, so DNA does work. Well, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the lie that they say, oh, you can take a DNA test, spit in this tube, and we'll tell you exactly where your family, what landmass they came out of in the world. That's a lie. That's a lie. Now, these two right here, these are like literally, these are twins, and they're very identical. Like they're so identical. The biologists who the geneticists and everything did their studies on them. They're like, wow, you guys are literally like so identical. You guys are supposed to have the same matches, and they were actually getting different matches, and they're identical twins.
Italian, 37.7. Ooh, 36.8.
But then we begin growing apart.
I'm only 28% Eastern European on this one.
I'm only 24% Eastern European on this one. This one actually says Poland.
Mine doesn't.
Mine does.
What?
Yeah. Look. Poland possible match.
Poland was not detected on mine. It specifically says not detected.
And it gets weirder. Okay, this is hilarious though, because look, French and German. What? Oh, I don't have that. You don't have that at all? No. We're identical twins, but you'd have to wonder with results like these. In search of answers, I traveled to New England, to Yale University, and meet up with Mark Gerstein and his international team of computational biologists. They study DNA and statistics, and they are stunned by our twin results.
I have to say, that one really shocked us. I mean, we expected
two identical twins to have the exact same ancestry, and they should. So the fact that they present different results for you and your sister, I find very mystifying. We thought for sure that the differences had to do with just when one person spit, there was a contaminant in the sample, or.
But then you looked at the raw data, and you're saying you checked, and there's no difference.
No difference. It's like, it's shockingly similar. It's like, it's scarily the same.
23andMe isn't the only company with funny twin differences.
Oh, great. Now you're Scottish and Irish. All right, I give up.
Living DNA is serving up some stumpers, too. Yours says South Italy, and mine says Tuscany.
I just don't understand how you could have a Tuscany marker, and I don't.
I don't know.
you have to come from one region. You cannot come from Tuscany and from Sicily. It just doesn't work like that.
So if the DNA technology says we're identical twins, why are some companies giving us different ancestry breakdowns?
We spend many hours, we try to understand why they might be different, but we cannot.
I think the clean thing to say is we don't know how they did the calculations, but we strongly think that you and your sister should get the same report. End of day.
DNA kits called into question. They are the kind advertised on TV claiming to trace your ancestry. A woman says she used 2 different popular services to trace her family history and got wildly different results. Fox 32's Tia Ewing reports.
And I was shocked.
Smith's breakdown from Ancestry showed 97% European and 2% Asian.
I'm a black girl. I am not a Jewish white lady. I'm black. My parents were black.
She contacted Ancestry with questions, but says a rep told her the results are accurate.
She told me there was no way they could have made an error.
Smith decided to try again, but this time she submitted a DNA to 23andMe.
And the results were very different, but they were not a surprise to me.
The 23andMe findings showed 70% African for Smith, after Ancestry's findings showed none.
Both kits can't be right. One of them has to be wrong.
These DNA tests for ethnicity are entertainment value only. Entertainment value only. Entertainment value only.
This is a biologist. He's literally telling you this is just entertainment, but they still, right? People still do it.
Entertainment value only.
William Gilliland is a biology professor at DePaul. He says DNA kits can be great for connecting family members and finding relatives, but the science for ethnicity testing isn't as concrete.
There's nothing that confident for ethnicity. There's no diagnostic nucleotide. You can say this person is from Europe, this person's from Africa.
It's exciting to make discoveries like this, but if they're not true, it's heartbreaking.
When I handed Vi the certificate, she got extremely emotional about it. She wept, and it meant so very much.
People want to believe.
They want to believe they've gotten an answer.
And it's not fair of us to let them believe that we're giving them certain answers, because scientifically, we just can't.
Hank Greeley is concerned that the science isn't really there yet for you to be giving them the name of a tribe.
I think for most companies, I would be concerned too.
But what about your own company?
We have
He
the
didn't
largest...
exclude you. He included you.
But we have the largest set of sequences from Africa. And so with that, we're able to provide some level of probability in terms of frequency.
But he would say that even though you have the largest database, it's still small on the scope of things.
As I said, I share those concerns.
Rick Kittles, he don't want, he's like, well, my company's different because we have the largest database. Database of what? Stop making things up, man. Stop scamming people, man.
About yourself.
Our DNA.
And that's the rub. This business of genetic genealogy is fraught with limitations. For one thing, it can only provide information about a tiny fraction of our ancestry. Because we get half our DNA from our mothers and half from our fathers, almost all of our DNA gets shuffled and remixed every generation, making it impossible to trace what comes from whom. There are just 2 bits of DNA that remain pure: the Y chromosome, which passes directly from father to son, and something called mitochondrial DNA, which passes unchanged from mother to child. Hank Greeley, a law professor at Stanford University, has studied this new field. He worries that people don't realize just how many ancestors they actually have.
8 generations ago, both you and I had 256 great-great-great-great-great-great-grandparents.
Wait, you're saying that if you go back 8 generations, we have 256 great-great-great-grandparents?
Yes, it doubles every generation. Yep. So you've got 2 parents, you have 4 grandparents, you have 8 great-grandparents, 16 great-great-grandparents, and it adds up fast. It adds up so fast, in fact, that if you go back 20 generations, you've got over 1 million grandparents.
1,048,576 to be exact. And in each generation, DNA testing can provide information about only 2 of them.
So you could be Peruvian on your mother's 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 side, Japanese on your father's 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 side, Swedish on everything else.
And you'll never know.
And you'll never know the Swedish from the Y chromosome or the mitochondrial DNA.
Now, you've looked at several of these companies that are doing these tests.
Yes.
Do you think that they explain what you just explained to us?
No, I don't think any of them does as good a job of pointing out the limitations.
All right, you guys understand that? You know, every time you go up on your ancestor, on your family tree, it doubles for every person, right? You got 2 parents, then you got 4 grandparents, then you got 8 great-grandparents, then you got 16 second great-grandparents. You understand? By the time you get to your 4th great-grandparents, you have 64. You have 64. And I always be telling people, do you know all 64 of your 4th great-grandparents? And then they say, well, no, I don't. So how do you know you're only 100% this or 100% that? If you don't even know all your 4th great-grandparents. And then after that, it doubles, right? 64 plus 64, then get to the 130s, 120s, right? So this is what I'm trying to say, guys. And they just told you they only go off a certain amount that oh yeah, you're this one. And they left out all your other ancestors. So I'm gonna say something deep because I know a lot of you, you know, we've been learning in the last couple of years, you know, you're American Indians. But guys, you also have a lot of you, most of you have Black Europeans in you. Those last names, where you get them from? So this is what I'm saying. Do you know all your ancestors? And I'm not trying to make you less Indian. You're still Indian. But you got to know that you might be something else too. You might be something else too. And a lot of people just go off one line or one grandma and one grandfather, and that's it. And that's all they focus on, one line. When you got so many different families and ancestors and surnames, you got so many. You just saw how many it multiplies, right? Just want you to think about that. And I just, you know, if you can be humble and just embrace all your ancestors, then you'll truly know yourself, all right? And that will help you not judge others and point the finger at others. Well, he looks like this, he looks like that, he looks like a Mongol, he looks like a Spaniard, he looks like a white man, he looks like an African, he looks like this. We just gotta worry, you gotta worry about yourself and do your genealogy completely, you know? That's all I wanted to say.
But, you know, businesses often don't go around telling you how weak their product is.
Hey, Mr. Walker, man, this is what I'm saying, man. Like, you know, and I'm gonna be respectful. I'm gonna be very respectful, all right? So where'd you get the Walker last name from? Is that your last name? Where you get all your last names from? Don't tell me the white man gave it to you. And if so, the white man gave it to you, it must be related. All right, we don't do that whole generalizing thing here. This ain't an Abo channel, man. Yeah, go to the pro Abo. I'm 100% Indian channels. We don't do that here. We try to tell all the truth here, no matter how you feel about it. All right, and I'm not saying they're white either. These are Black Europeans, and there's a real history behind that. There's a real history, a deep history. Cherokee is a combination of Black Europeans and a lot of different Indians, bro. You're not going far back enough, bro. I'm definitely not going to argue with that, because now I know you haven't really done the real research. Like, yeah. So you're definitely generalizing there, but it's okay, man. One day you find out, you're going to see what I'm talking about, man. Once you stop being biased.
We don't oversell. I mean, we just say, look, we provide a service. If you're interested in exploring a tiny bit of your DNA and trace its ancestry, we can do that.
When you say it's a tiny little amount,
it's less than 0.1%. It's less than 0.1%. It's less than 0.1%.
So you guys hear that? Rick Kittles is admitting that his DNA ancestry tests are less than 0.1% accurate. 0.1% accurate. That's less than zero, guys. That's less than zero, man. You know? Hey, now you're swearing, man. Hey, listen, man. I'm gonna just time you out for the day, man. Yeah, because you're getting all in your feelings now. You're getting all in your feelings, man. Cherokees, Indians didn't have surnames. Indians didn't have surnames, guys. I know y'all want to be 100%. Everybody wants to be the good guys, and nobody wants to be the European, right? European doesn't always mean colonist, doesn't always mean white. And Jamal, you obviously don't watch my videos, man. You must be new to my channel, man. Like I said, guys, there's gonna be a lot of people in the chat, because I let anybody who's not subscribed, chat today. But I'm not here to argue with you today, bro. All right. Hopefully you can humble yourself and accept all your ancestors, man. Those last names didn't just come from Indians, man. So you may go to other channels, they might say, yeah, we the Indians, we this, we the mound builders, we the ancient ones. I don't do that here, bro. I'm trying to help you. I'm not trying to come at you. I'm trying to help you, all of you guys. Again, Rick Kittles, going back into the video, Rick Kittles, he just said that his ancestry tests are less than 0.1% accurate. Let's go back to that, all right? Because we're getting interrupted. And go back.
It's less than 0.1%.
Explain to us.
No, I don't think any of them does as good a job of pointing out the limitations. But, businesses often don't go around telling you how weak their product is.
We don't oversell. I mean, we just say, look, we provide a service. If you're interested in exploring a tiny bit of your DNA and trace its ancestry, we can do that.
When you say it's a tiny little amount,
it's less than 0.1%. It's less than 0.1%. It's less than 0.1%. It's less than 0.1%. It's less than 0.1%.
And that's pretty teeny.
Yeah, but for people who know nothing about any of them, I think it's very important.
All right. 0.1%, less than point. That's under zero. You guys understand decimal, numerical decimal places. So after you get, once you go below zero, it becomes 0.9, right? 0.999, 0.9998, then 0.8. It goes, he's saying it's less than 0.1%. Less than 0.1, less than zero. That's what people be relying on. That's what Pan-Africans be relying on, trying to debate me with less than 0.1% accuracy. Rick Kittles just admitted that. Rick Kittles, the scammer. He said, well, at least it's something. It's better than nothing. What do you mean it's better than nothing? Why don't you tell them to go do their genealogy, man? That's real. Go do your genealogy. Like I'm asking everybody in the chat is listening, go do their genealogy fully, stop being biased and going off just one line and thinking that all Indians have surnames. Cherokee is guys, I mean, I've gone over this, not to go over to the brother, but Cherokee is a very generalized term, man. It includes a lot of different Indian tribes that are not Cherokee, and it also includes the Black European, the Sephardic Jews, and the Moors that were here. Hey, I'm not making this up. I do hundreds of trees and hundreds of genealogies in the last 3-4 years. Black folks, And when you go further back, you start seeing where those last names come from. That is less than zero, Ike. What you talking about? 0.1%, man.
In the year 2000, a young black geneticist named Dr. Rick Kittles, who at the time was teaching at Howard University, sent me a letter. He's now at the University of Chicago Medical School. And he said that he was asking various African-American men if they would submit themselves to this new test. And through this test, he could trace on your mother's line where in Africa you were from. Man, that was some serious stuff. And I said, yeah, I mean, I called him right away, and I said, definitely. How badly do I want to know where I'm from in Africa? But I really wanted to know. I'd wanted to know since I was 9 years old, so, you know, let's go for it. I said, Rick, what's up, man? Where am I from in Africa? Where are my people? You know, I want to jump on a plane and go. I thought I'd buy some land, you know, get a fine little African sister, you know, to hook up. I was single at the time, don't get me wrong. I'm still single. Well, so he said, well, we had to run, your results were anomalous, and we had to run them many times. But we finally have figured out where you're from. You are descended on your mother's side from the Nubian people. Now, all African Americans, not all African Americans, but many African Americans want to be descended from one or two ethnic groups. Either the Zulu, because the Chaka Zulu, and the Zulu kicked the English in the behind in the Boer Wars, right? Until they finally were overcome. But you want to be Zulu, or you want to be Nubian. Who were the Nubians? The Nubians were the black pharaohs. And so a Nubian, and all these people wanted to be Nubians, descended from the black pharaohs. So I called Malefi first thing. I said, Malefi, I just got my results back. I am a Nubian. Where are you from? I am the true African prince. My friend Anthony Appiah, whose uncle was the Asantehene, the king of the Asante people. When Rick Kittles sent me a certificate announcing I was Nubian, Anthony Appiah looked at it and said, what a ton of rubbish. Now, why would he say that? Well, there's a slight problem with being either Zulu or Nubian, if you're African American. You know what the problem is? None of our ancestors who came here in slavery came from South Africa, the Zulu people, or from Nubia. None, zero. There's a slight problem with being either Zulu or Nubian, if you're African American. You know what the problem is? None of our ancestors who came here in slavery came from South Africa, the Zulu people, or from Nubia. None, zero. When Oprah was finally in the first series, and we gave her DNA test, basically the next day she went to South Africa to announce that she was opening what became the Oprah Winfrey Leadership Academy. She was in an auditorium like 75,000 people or something, and she announced that she just had the test and that she was Zulu. So it broke on CNN. I was sitting in my living room minding my own business and said, Oprah Winfrey's a Zulu. So I called Rick Kittles, and I said, Rick, did you tell Oprah she was a Zulu? He goes, no, man, she made that up herself.
You guys hear what's going on, right? You guys hear what he's saying, you know, I know it's funny and everything, but he's snitching a little bit. He's a gatekeeper too. He does a lot of genealogy, and he tries to make people into Africans, even when they're doing their genealogy. He still tries to he tries to look for the slave schedules. He tried to say, look, it's an anomaly that you had free people of color in your family before slavery was over. It's not an anomaly. He's lying. I find that all the time when I do people's genealogy. So this is a gatekeeper too, but he's letting you know how Oprah faked her genealogy. I mean, sorry, her DNA test, and called herself a Zulu, went over there and started building something. And then the Zulu people were like, what are you doing, man? You're not one of us. So he's like asking Rick Kittles, right? Rick Kittles, right? The guy who just said, we're 0.1% accurate. And he's like, nah, I didn't even tell her that. So she made that up on her own, right? And look what he says. Listen to what he's about to say to Rick Kittles. Listen closely.
It's a true story. It's a true story. I would lie to make you laugh, but I'm telling you a true story. So I said, Rick, are you in your lab? He said, yeah. I said, is anybody there? He said, no. I said, when the results come in, make her Zulu, man. You know? I said, you back there making it up anyway. I said, you back there making it up anyway.
All right. You're back there making it up anyways, Rick. Hey, Rick, why you over there making up stuff, trying to make people African, man? And Henry Gates admitted it to everybody that you're back there playing around, scamming everybody. Rick Kittles the scammer.
Anybody believe you can take some spit and figure out a tribe? What, are you crazy? Anybody believe you can take some spit and figure out a tribe? What, are you crazy? Anybody believe you can take some spit and figure out a tribe? What, are you crazy?
Where do that from? All right, I'm not gonna show that. But hey, you hear what Henry Gates is saying, right? Ain't nobody can spit in no tube and figure out a tribe. What, are you crazy? And he's talking to all the Pan-Africans out there. And you know, I hold on, let me put that image. If you guys don't know, this is Jabari and S.A. Nader, who always talking about DNA test, right? And nobody can believe, nobody except these two geniuses. You guys know I did Jabari's genealogy, right? I got it up, it's uploaded. I know a lot of you haven't watched it yet. I proved that his ancestor that he was claiming was African, the only one that he was claiming was African, was actually from Scotland. And it's admitted. He even admits he came from Scotland, but he's saying, well, at some point, he must have come from Africa because he's black. No, that's not the case, Jabari, the gatekeeper, all these agents and boulets in the community all these years. And Henry Gates is laughing at them. Henry Gates, their own boy, right? Saying, ain't nobody can believe you can spit in a tube and find your tribe. What, are you crazy? Nobody except these two geniuses, right? Who always try to use DNA tests to try to debate people, right? DNA tests to try to debate people. Now for the dismount, all right, for the dismount, we're going to hear Rick Kittles admit, right?
You mentioned
Hold
that
on.
I have a...
Hold on. We're going to hear Rick Kittles admit where his ancestry is from and confirming his oral tradition, meaning his genealogy, confirming what his ancestors told him. All right? Pay attention. This is your hero right here, your geneticist, your favorite geneticist, right? Your hero, your geneticist, your expert 0.1% accurate. Wrong debate. What you talking about, Canyon? Anyways, we're going to hear from the horse's mouth himself. I ain't making this up. Pay attention what he's going to say. All right? I just uploaded this short. You can share the short. If you just want this part of the video, the short is already up. Listen to what he's saying.
You mentioned that I have a European Y chromosome. So that's my father's lineage. I have a European Y chromosome. My father's 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 line is of European ancestry. In fact, my great grandfather was European. My great grandfather was European in Georgia. And I knew that before I actually did the testing. Once I did the Y chromosome test, I found that, lo and behold, I didn't have a African Y chromosome. I had a European Y chromosome. I didn't have a African Y chromosome. I had a European Y chromosome. So it confirmed the oral history in my family. Whether I had a Y chromosome from Europe or not, it didn't matter. You mentioned that I have a European.
Okay. You heard it from the horse's mouth yourself. All right. His Y chromosome, what he's saying is from Europe. He literally said his third great grandfather is European. That doesn't mean they were white. Nobody's saying white. That's why I wanted to clear that up, because I uploaded that short and people leaving me comments like, it doesn't mean they're white. Nobody's saying they were white. And anybody saying that, you obviously don't watch my videos. All right. Now you heard him, Rick Kittles, the scammer, the guy who admits his tests are 0.1% accurate. He's also admitting that he's from Europe, all right? And then he tried to say his mom's from Africa, right? But the genealogy don't say that. He's talking about DNA tests. His own DNA test, which Henry Gates just admitted he'd be back there making it up. He's behind in the laboratory just making it all up. All right? They're just making all this stuff up. And again, Pan-Africans still try to debate me with this. Leaving comments on my videos like, hey man, you gotta go do your DNA test, man. Go do your DNA test. I'm like, what you talking about, man? Man, what you talking about, man? Anyways, I felt like I had to redo this again real quick one time just to remind everybody how silly this is. You gotta step up your debate game, or you say, I disagree with you, Kurimeo. I took a DNA test and it said something from here. All right, you gotta step up your game, man. We're in 2024. We're about to go into 2025, man. Like, you mad late. You mad late. You're not on this level. Literally not on this level, man. Let me see what you're saying. Ike, I already been said that, yeah, about the Chazars. They're the ones, of course, they got to tell you because they're supposed to be the chosen ones, right? So, of course, they're going to create false identities for everybody else in the world, right? Chazars, yeah. But that doesn't mean these dudes ain't working for them or a part of it. We're not going to sugarcoat the boulets, the agents, the scammers, the so-called black in the black community. Like, these are the people that people trust more because they look like them. Understand? So these are the ones on the front lines tricking everybody else. The chasers are behind doors, funding almost everything. But these guys are making you believe all that stuff. All right? And again, before I go out, guys, man, like, if you're still on, I'm 100% Indian, then you're being biased. You're still generalizing. You're a lot more than that. I'm gonna make a big statement right here. I know a lot of you is gonna get in your feelings and stuff. All right? Where did you get all those surnames you got? They're not all Indian surnames. And it's not the white man passing it to you, or just from Indians being baptized those names. You got to prove that. You got to prove that. And if you can't prove that, you got to humble yourself. Say, I don't know. I don't know. And if you don't know, there's room there for learning. And you never know who your ancestors from Europe are. They might be important people. They might have a deep ancestral history. They might even connect back to the Americas. But you'll never know that if you're ignoring that part. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's 100% nowadays, man. You know, oh, my grandma said I was this and that her parents were Indians. Okay, so how did they get the last name then? We're not going far back enough. And remember, the elders didn't know there was black Europeans. That's why they never associated to their European side, even though they heard stories of being Irish, German, Scottish, English. But they always thought it was white folks, pale-skinned people. So they never really kind of associated to that. And I'm trying to tell you something deep here. And I hope you guys are humble enough to look into it. All right? You're definitely Indians, man. Shout out to you. Shout out to the real American Indians, all right? But you might be more than that, a lot more than that. It might be a very deep history, okay? Hey, man, so I hope you enjoyed today's little reminder, all right? It was more for the new people, and it was a lot for a lot of the trolls, okay? But I know a lot of you guys already knew all this stuff. But I hope you enjoyed it anyways. I'll give you your Monday afternoon back. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate you taking the time to do that. Again, I hate being this stern and you know, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to anybody, but I really trying to help you understand something, understand something. Okay? So to the brother, Mr. Walker, bro, this was not personal. I hope you can just chill, understand what I'm trying to say, and look into it, man. All right? Don't get upset, man. I love y'all, man. Much love. Even you, Mr. Walker, I love you, man. Like, I want you to know deep deeply. I want you to really know. We can't generalize, all right? That'll help us be better people too, so we don't judge others. We don't stereotype on others just based on what they look. Because I bet you look at me because I'm light-skinned, you say, well, man, you straight European. I'm not European. But you get to do that because of what I look, right? But that's what I'm trying to say. I know my genealogy, so I'm good with my genealogy. I love my genealogy. It's what made me me. All your ancestors are what made you today, okay? Shout out to everybody in the live chat. Shout out to everybody listening. Appreciate you guys taking the time. Shout out to all my Patreon supporters, all right? If you want to join the channel members, you can help me that way, or my Patreon page. I got a lot of exclusive videos there, and some books I shared there. All right, I dropped number 33 of the Chazar series recently. Go check that out on my Patreon page. All right, much love. Pura vida. Pura vida, mi gente. Oh, wow. Blood Rush. We're going into Blood Rush. Talking about blood, right? Blood Rush by Robin Dre Beats. Beats with Bite. Wow, I just want to give a I want to give a shout out to Kane Rico. Right now we're listening to Kurimeo by Kane Rico. All right, thanks for the beat, brother. And again, we are going to go out with Blood Rush. That was Kurimeo. He named it after me. Appreciate him, man. Kane Rico. Now we're going out with Blood Rush. Robin Dre Beats.
Robin Dre, Beats with Bite.
Wow.